Hey everybody, welcome back to Podcasts and Such, where we are watching My Hero Academia Season 5. I'm Jay.
And I'm Luke.
Today we'll be discussing Season 5, Episodes 22 and 23, The Sad Man's Parade, and Tenko Shimura Origin.
Oh, yes.
Are those the ones you watched?
They are, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I saw a text on my phone.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, or is this the OVA?
No, yeah, no, those are the ones I watched.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I really like Twice.
Twice is so good.
Yeah. That was very interesting.
Yeah. Because, he finally found out that he's not the clone.
Right, yeah, that was cool. That was...
Yeah.
I guess he got over his craziness.
Yeah, well, I like that every time everybody sees him, oh, you're doubling yourself? It's like, yeah, I'm done with it. Done with the trauma.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, what he used what did he use the enhancer stuff, or was this just another evolving quirk thing?
Well, it's the fact that he finally, I don't think he used an enhancer. It's just the fact that he was always able to double himself and then himself double that double, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
right,
he's just been too
he made
afraid.
a bunch of them before and they hurt each
all
other.
Killed each other. Yeah.
But what I was confused about was in the explanation where they were talking about the power. It's like each one gets weaker and weaker and weaker. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I believe so. I think there's some kind of diminishing return. So if he makes a bunch, they're all just kind of weak fodder or whatever.
Okay. Because I was thinking, when he was doing, I thought that it seemed portrayed maybe as different, where it was like these were all not as weak, or maybe it was just supposed to be the triumphant vibes I was getting were just that he was able to clone himself again.
Yeah, he's able to clone himself again, which can make himself an army because he knows himself the best, so therefore he can duplicate himself the best.
Right.
So he can make a little army.
Twice as a self-aware king.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is just Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's just Deadpool.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah, with a few less meta jokes going on, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed his episode a lot.
Oh yeah, his is really good. It was interesting to figure out a little bit more about his backstory. That he said I tripped and I just kept falling or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bad luck hitting an executive with a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And then he cares about Toga a lot. That was his main concern of the episode.
Yeah, because she had given him a handkerchief at some point or something.
Yeah, I mean, well, to cover up his mask when his mask rips.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So keeping them together.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he still have schizophrenia or multiple personalities?
We shall see.
I guess. Yeah. I guess
to be seen.
See. I heard recently that this is maybe a side tangent, but apparently schizophrenia is pretty treatable.
I don't know. I'm seeing ads recently on YouTube of would that be an antipsychotic or?
I don't know. I'm not sure if it's treatable via medication or integrative therapy or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it all depends, and it depends on severity and situation. And
yeah,
was it genetic or was it trauma induced or whatever?
Sure.
So I don't know.
We'll see. I guess we'll see if he's still
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about twice.
if he's still talking twice or whatever.
Yeah. But oh yeah, I like kind of what all set that off was that that guy skeptic who could make puppets, you know, and
Yeah,
so he
that
made puppets of Twice, which is Twice's worst fear is to
right.
see more of him again.
Right, but it like almost, you know, triggered him to overcome the fear. It was like a facing your fear kind of thing.
Well, it was him getting his arm broken
Yeah, that's what
that finally
really.
made him go, "Oh, I'm the real one."
Yeah.
Yeah. I like his logic there with making the other doubles of like Davi and Shigaraki and all that, and him telling them, "It's all right, guys. You're just doubles. If you
Mhm.
die, you don't actually die.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
that's
can be fodder."
interesting. Do we know, like, do the doubles? I guess the doubles would be able to use the quirk, right?
Yeah,
Because
I think they've
of the fact
demonstrated
that.
that before.
Well, I think it's just demonstrated in the fact that when Twice makes a double of himself, that double can make more doubles.
No.
So that's already been established as part of Twice's abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Is there anything particular you wanted to?
Oh, let
Any
me refer to my
rabbit
notes.
holes you want to go down?
Any rabbit holes? Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we got more of that Geaton versus Davi
Hmm.
Iceman.
Right. That weird talking guy.
Weird talking guy. It's soft spoken.
He reminds me of somebody. I don't know if maybe that's a voice actor I've heard before or what.
I'll do a quick look.
Yeah.
I'll take that rabbit hole opportunity.
Oh, cool. Hold on. There's a package for me.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I have to get this out. It's a mattress topper,
Oh, okay, nice.
and so apparently it has to sit out for like 24 hours
Oh yeah, that kind of thing.
to refluff or whatever. I don't know. So hold on.
I'm glad our listeners could get mattress advice.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I looked up Geaton's voice actor.
Okay.
I'm probably not gonna pronounce this right. Xiao Dao.
Okay.
He's Vietnamese. And he voiced. Did you watch any of March Comes In Like a Lion?
No.
Okay. Voice main character. I don't think he's been in anything that you've seen.
Cool.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got an interesting quality to his voice. I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he points out that Dobby's flames, he says, your flames are consuming your own body.
Yeah, I think that's interesting that I noticed when they threw up the Dobby head or whatever, in the transition or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said quirk unknown.
Unknown. Interesting.
Yeah. It said quirk
I could
unknown.
have sworn. Okay,
Details unknown.
I know the name of his quirk, but I'm wondering when they said that.
That's what it said today when I watched it.
Said quirk unknown. Okay, so as of right now, unknown.
Quirk unknown, details unknown.
Yeah. Details unknown.
Yep. So we don't know how it works.
Don't know how it works. There's fire involved.
Yep. Flames.
It's blue. blue fire.
Sure is.
Yeah. But yeah, Keaton has temperature control over water. He can make ice out of water.
Yeah.
And and then later Regestro tells us that stress-induced quirk upgrades or mutations are totally a thing and have always happened.
Right. Yeah. I think that was in the next episode.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that was the first half of last. Yeah. First half of next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They shoehorned that in.
Yeah.
As per our conversation last week.
I know. That's why I'm bringing it up. I do think that. Well, I think all that stuff was to me logical and all that jazz. It perhaps could have been, since we're 4 or 5 seasons into this, they could have established it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, that's my main problem. It wasn't that the upgrades are not making sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we've gone from a more tactical upgrading system where it's like I'm learning new applications of these raw materials to we're just getting more materials now. Like,
sure.
5 seasons in, it's kind of interesting to start messing with the mechanics of your central component.
No, I mean, then again, I don't know. I'm not really sure how other long-running shonen do it.
I'm sure it happens.
Like One Piece introduced, pretty late in the game, post time skip, a new power system.
Right. Yeah, it's not the worst. I'm not trying to criticize it too hard. It's just that.
But I also understand where you're coming from, though.
Yeah, I was just sort of voicing my opinion that I thought it was slightly cooler to work with the limitations that is just kind of figuring out new ways to use the quirks.
Right, yeah.
But I can also see where they want to give Deku more powers, and therefore everybody else kind of needs to be able to up their game in that same way. Or
right.
A similar way.
Oh, sure.
But yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Other fights in the episode, we had like Spinner versus Trumpet, the leader of the Hearts and Minds party.
Yeah, the Trumpet guy was interesting.
Yeah, I like his quirk's called Insight.
Yeah, inciting violence, basically.
Yeah, so he's a bard.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. There was also like a weird aspect to sort of just the villain group in general. This new, or I guess they've been around for a little bit, the metahuman
and Liberation
Army. It's like I'm intrigued by sort of understanding the different facets of like their mission or whatever, because it's sort of interesting how in one instance, and I can't tell whether or not this is like they're trying to spread different conflicting like ideas or something. I don't really know entirely what's going on, but I noticed there was one part where they were talking about everyone is a hero and therefore no one is a hero.
Right.
Sort of like this relativism of sorts where it's like, yeah, we're all special or whatever. But then they also have this like sort of hierarchical understanding of quirks, and there are people with quirks that are beneficial to society and people with quirks that are either neutral, they don't add much benefit, or they are inherently destructive. Something like a blood drinking quirk, or a quirk that just disintegrates things could perhaps be
seen as
scary,
more
destructive than beneficial.
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
right. Well, and like Trumpet even said to Spinner, I don't think your quirk is very beneficial to society.
Yeah. He
And
straight
it's
up
just
said it.
like, he's just being a gecko, man. You leave him alone.
Right. You know, that's
Yeah, it is interesting that they do have that, especially because like Geaton too was like, I think, in this, in our whatever society we build from the ground up here, mastery of your quirk will determine your position.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, they all are sort of preoccupied with that. As like, I don't know if that's true liberation or not.
I mean, it depends on what you're being liberated from, you know?
Right. I
There's
guess
all
they're just being liberated from regulation of quirks, but then eh, I guess in a post-regulated society, I don't know. I guess they're not trying to tear down hierarchy.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
distinction between self-imposed regulation and then regulation
Hmm.
imposed on you by people that, like, I would imagine the meta liberation people would see the current, quirk restrictions and regulations as being imposed on them for the benefit of the quirkless. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like chaining the arms of the strong man down in order to uh, give the weak man a better opportunity or something like that. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
sure. Yeah.
Uh, you could argue that they feel oppressed by what is attempting to be a more of an equitable system,
Hmm.
and what their liberation would do is allow them uh, to impose a different sort of order on things, an order that is determined by the strength of the individual and sort of
Right.
the overall goals of the society.
Right. Is that what a what was it called? Is it a meritocracy? Is that what
Yeah,
that is?
you could call it something like a meritocracy.
Yeah.
But it really depends because you could organize it in all sorts of different ways, right? You could.
Oh, sure.
It depends on what the goal of the society is.
True.
It depends on the conception of like of freedom, the conception of the individual and what their role is.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated thing. Um,
Oh, sure.
but yeah, I can see the sort of the idea that they're bringing forth is something like we're currently being asked to limit ourselves in a certain sense for
Hmm.
the benefit of those without power, and
Right.
we would rather exist in a society where we can organize ourselves on the basis of power.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I think the meta liberation army is like really interesting.
They are interesting.
In
They're
fact, it's really weird, okay, because we got the League of Villains kind of acting as the de facto protagonist right now.
yes.
And even though we're giving all this backstory to like Shigaraki and stuff,
Hmm.
I'm just sitting here like, man, these other villains are way more interesting than the League of Villains has ever been.
Right. I think they're more ideologically interesting. The
Yeah,
meta
they've got
yeah.
goals, unlike Shigaraki, who's just like,
Right. Well, and yeah, that is kind of. I think it is kind of interesting to pit these two against each other because of how kind of empty Shigaraki's goals are.
yeah,
Because he is just about destruction and nothing else.
sure.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I don't know, uh, Shigaraki, they almost want him to be a Joker kind of character, like
Yeah.
from The Dark Knight, where he's just like this absolute anarchist. But
Hmm.
even that had like a certain like logic and a certain craftiness to it in The Dark Knight. Whereas, I mean, Shigaraki, they do plans and things, but it's like
Yeah.
it's almost like it's not really an ethos to him.
Mm.
It's more of a just how I feel this morning sort of thing.
Oh yeah, well, and again, that's the kind of emptiness of only wanting destruction, and even then,
Yeah.
he kind of contradicts himself sometimes with like, Toga said, "Hey, wait a minute, if we're gonna destroy everything, what about the things I love?" And he's like, whatever, sure, you can have the things you love, and I would just destroy everything else.
Sure, yeah.
He's very he's kind of ideologically weak in a lot of ways.
Sure, which is why it's kind of like, I don't know. I like him. I don't dislike him,
Right.
but he feels almost like there's almost a little bit of wasted potential there for me,
Hmm.
where it's like it feels like they're kind of trying to set up a Joker versus Batman situation,
Hmm.
you know, because Deku's got this strong principle of saving people and
Right.
doing right by others and stuff, and then Shigaraki's more of this pure chaotic, just I hate everyone sort of thing. But
Uh-huh.
it's like the reason why it was so interesting to throw the Joker and Batman against one another is because they both have like an ethos. They both have a sort of a disciplined, regimented view of the world.
Hmm.
It's just that the Joker's regimented approach is conflicting. It's the anti worldview of Batman.
Right. I think the thing about Shigaraki is that he is super unstable in his
Mhm.
views and whatnot, and because
Yeah,
he kind of doesn't have any of his
yeah.
own in a way.
That could be interesting too, especially with I guess the role he's playing. The differentiator is that there's a bigger entity behind Shigaraki who's sort of
Hmm.
trying to guide this chaotic mess into a bigger plan. Whereas
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the
Yeah.
Joker is an agent all his own.
Oh yeah, yeah. One, to do all the things that the Joker does, you do need, to have actual like plans and stuff, but
Right.
Shigaraki's got people for that. you know?
Right, right, right. Yeah.
In a way,
So Shigaraki in a certain sense is like a pawn in sort of the
Exactly. Like even this whole
game of all for one.
Gigantomachia thing, like getting him to be on their side, that wasn't even his idea.
Yeah. Yeah, he just sort of goes with the flow.
Yeah, basically. He's like, well, can I kill a bunch of people? Yes, alright, I'll go do it then,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think is that it for that episode, I think.
Yeah, I think we hit most of the highlights of the Sad Man's Parade.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think oh yeah, so at the end was all that at the end of that episode was the whole Redestro's father, Destro, and the whole how the name Quirks was kind of like a PR campaign essentially.
Mm-hmm. Makes
That they
sense.
stopped calling it meta abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that all came from.
That makes sense. That sounds like a real psyop, you know.
Rebranding,
Oh, they're not superior to you. They're just kind of quirky.
I guess. Well, I guess back then it would have been inferior or dangerous, or
No, I think like even if you branded them as freaks in your sort of coverage,
Mhm.
the underlying truth is that people are afraid of metahumans because they're superior to them and able to
Right.
wreak,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
wreak
Yeah.
havoc upon their way of life.
Right. Well, I mean, but you think about some of those first quirks, man. The glowing
Sure.
baby.
Yeah, sure.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
that glowing baby's sure gonna trample all over my rights.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe it was.
But I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't know like
I
the
think if a
whole
governing entity was
thing.
getting involved, they were probably thinking along the lines of like, okay, these things have potential for development that could wipe out the human race.
Yeah, true. I mean, well, yeah, because we did have that in that All for One, One for All flashback. There's that like guy covered in like spikes and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was supposed to be the first generation of quirks. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, there was a glowing baby, but there was also guys with spikes.
Spikes.
You know?
Yeah.
There was also
So
like,
yeah, there we go.
oh, these could be a real problem if people learn how to utilize these abilities that are far beyond our present Homo sapien capabilities.
Sure. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Yep.
Gotta think on the long haul when babies start glowing, you know.
Always sure to look out for that, you know, and tell my governing body about it. Yeah. So yeah, the next episode opens up with Twice still concerned about Toga. That she's like taller now and stuff. He's gotta get like new measurements every time.
Yeah, I don't understand what he was doing there with like cloning Toga.
He's trying to do like a blood transfusion
Of her blood to herself?
Yeah, I guess if he is indeed making an actual true copy of something,
Yeah.
there's
I
probably
guess
blood there, right?
one would have blood to spare, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Just make sure you actually get the clone and not actually you know?
Yeah, that's
Gotta put a marker on one of them or something.
Yeah. It's a little yikes.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, and so we find out about Redestro's ability, stress, that he's able to pound or whatever, just build it up.
Yeah, that was interesting. That read similar to me as the storing energy guy from Mob Psycho.
Yeah, it is very, very similar, and it kept Tuichiro from Tuichiro Suzuki from Mob Psycho, and he even was like counting up, you know, like 80% whatever, you know, 80% liberation or whatever.
Yeah. It's like I guess the difficult with Redestro is like it seems to all go to like muscle mass. Though I guess he did shoot like a ball of despair or something. What did he call it? Burden?
You know, I don't remember.
He shot like a freaking energy ball. So I guess he can turn it into energy in the same way that Tuichiro could. Or a similar way where it's not just like he's not just hulking out ever exponentially increasing.
Right. Yeah, well, and I'm sure there's only so much stress you can
does it
hold.
deplete? Do we know?
You know, I'm trying to read the mechanics here, and it was stress output burden.
Yeah.
A move where Redestro focuses the energy of his stress and strikes his opponent with it.
Right. So I'm guessing that's depleted.
I imagine like you can't
get
just
that energy back.
keep holding it. Yeah, because because stress has release, right?
Yeah. So what does this guy do? Just go like do high stress situations every once in a while?
I mean, he is running a liberation army.
Yeah, but he seems pretty cool about it, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of
about
that.
Like I'm thinking like, does he take the SAT like once a year or something? You know, does he like?
Yeah. Goes to LA and drives in their traffic.
Yeah, go to LA or any neighboring city and try to like survive there for a week. You know.
Yeah, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I still think that running
California
an army,
try and buy a house. You know.
I still think that running an army is kind of stressful.
He's
also the CEO of what was that company? What's the what was it? Detnerat. The the arms dealer or something, right? Is that
Oh, okay.
Detnerat?
Yeah, I mean, selling war arms is stressful, I suppose, but it's like,
Yeah, Detnerat. He's CEO of Detnerat. And they provide like support items and stuff like that. And it sounds like they also they probably sell some to like heroes, but it sounds like they also sell them to like villains and stuff. Kind of under the table.
right, yeah, but like, I don't know, man.
Maybe he plays horror games in the dark sometimes,
Yeah, maybe he
and
plays horror games in the dark, you know? Or
maybe sometimes he tries to thread needles.
yeah, that's high
Yeah.
stress. Yeah, has he tried talking to people on phones? You know,
Has he
like
tried posting on Reddit?
wonder if he's ever tried being in multiple group chats. That can like
Oh, has he tried to run a D&D campaign?
Yeah, I guess running the two companies is probably a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, running a liberation army and a support item company.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
I'm sure that's something, you know.
yeah. He just never takes any vacation days. That's how he really builds it
Right,
all
right.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No weekends.
No
Just
weekends.
really, really on that grind set.
Trillionaire grind set.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's what we got from that.
Yeah.
Get a
And
little.
then
Oh yeah, we
yeah,
get we get the whole. It
fun.
is supposed to be 5 fingers for
Yeah, and now
decay.
he can
Yeah,
just do it with less fingers.
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
That was a little I mean, I guess that's useful in the long run, but
right.
that one felt a little cheap.
I mean, it makes sense in my mind a little
Yeah.
bit, like having a better control over it, and therefore you don't need all 5 fingers. I don't know. But I
Yeah,
also
but
get that. I kind of like the rule of in keeping that rule of like 5 fingers. I don't know,
yeah, because
but
that's
yeah,
that's the fun of rules, right? Is that
true.
they add some aspect to how the thing functions, and therefore you have to be creative
Hmm.
about it. Like, and are they going to do it where it's like now he just can't touch anyone, you know, with any amount of
Mm.
fingers, or are they going to
Does
go
he have better
your
control over it or
your
whatever?
route? Like he has control over it now or something? Because that would be
Right.
less cool, in my opinion.
Right. I see that. I see it.
It's like it was kind of interesting having the rules where he, you know, had to hold things with two
Yeah.
fingers and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I'm okay with it being able to like spread and stuff, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes sense within the limited within um the current construction of how quirks are working now. They're kind of introducing the idea of uh not just getting better at using them in a tactical sense, but also just like in a muscle sense. Like you just
Oh, sure.
there's some sort of physiology to it, or the ability can get stronger with use.
Yeah, I mean
Essentially.
that's what they taught about at the summer camp. Remember?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've sort of broached it.
But I also understand not quite
Yeah,
in this way.
yeah.
Like it was
This
more
is
like
a different.
Uraraka using her quirk a lot more or something so that she gets less sick every time she is, just really working out
Yeah,
that muscle.
that would just be her getting used to using an
Yeah.
ability, you know,
Yeah,
or
exactly. Yeah.
like you don't even have to have a magic power to if you put yourself in a zero gravity situation more, you'll
Yeah.
be less sick as
Yeah,
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but those were always interesting aspects of the quirks and stuff. So
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see how it continues on, but it seems like this is the new trajectory, and I can acknowledge that they're at least being internally consistent with the new trajectory. It seems
Oh,
like
sure.
it's logical in some sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, Shigaraki flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah. I don't know
yeah.
how I feel about this. You know,
Yeah.
I get that the dad was kind of being a jerk. You know,
Uh-huh.
I get that maybe that's not the best way to convey to your child. Like what was he, like 5?
He was like 5.
Yeah, he was like 5. I don't know. It's like on the one hand, there's this idea that, maybe there was a better way to broach it. But it's not like the dude could have sat down and had a nuanced conversation with his 5-year-old about
About why he probably shouldn't become a hero or whatever because his
Yeah.
mom abandoned him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. He probably shouldn't have been putting him outside every time he talked.
Yeah, I don't know. It reads to me as just this like purely anti-discipline sort of idea
Yeah,
where
I mean, there's discipline, and then there's leaving your kid outside every time he talks about something.
right. But I'm looking less at the actual mechanics because I can acknowledge that like he was overreacting, like
Mhm.
his father was being crueler than necessary, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, I can also look at the undergirding of the narrative, you
Mhm.
know, and it's almost this sort of if you try and prevent someone from being what they want to be or whatever,
Mhm.
if a child wants to uh, be a hero, you shouldn't discourage that on some level. When it's
Mhm.
like there could be valid reasons to have gone about that, and because of the wounding from the mother and all that, and maybe
Oh,
some
sure.
other issues with hero society. It's whatever you want to.
Right, yeah, because I mean, it's kind of difficult here because the whole like that's their big celebrities in that world or whatever,
Yeah,
and everybody plays heroes or whatever. Same thing as like wanting to be a firefighter kid or something.
sure. Yeah,
Um,
it's like if I had a child and they came to me at 5 and were like, "I want to be a TikToker,"
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
is there a way I can navigate this and help them understand that being a TikToker is dumb?
Right. Well, it's kind of how that kid we used to babysit together. It's kind of like how his mom gave him that camera so that he could record quote unquote let's plays without actually posting them.
Yeah. There, there's aspects of that. I don't know. That's almost too encouraging for me. That's almost like on
Yeah,
a
a little too
level of
much.
like I'm teaching them how to eventually do the real thing.
Sure. And I guess the thing is, instead you give them other options. You say,
Sure.
"Oh, what about being a doctor? What about doing other things?" Or,
Yeah.
"Hey, let's do anything else."
Sure. Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's complicated for sure.
oh
I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
one, and also it also depends on what you like expose them to, right? If you let
true.
your kids watch a bunch of TikTok, then they're gonna want to be a TikToker.
Oh yeah,
That sort of thing. So it's
sure.
like I don't know. What could Papa Shigaraki have done better, or whatever the name was before he changed it,
Shimura.
Shimura?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but it seems if we're saying that him putting his kid outside and asking him to apologize for talking about heroes was a little over the top. I think so is destroying your entire family.
Well, yeah, I don't think we're supposed to end that episode being like, wow, I'm sure glad Shigaraki killed his entire family. I don't think we're supposed to come away with that. I don't even think we're supposed to come away with, oh, I'm so glad he killed his dad. Because
Yeah,
I think, you know, in the
yeah.
end there, you could kind of see
You could sort of sympathize with
that
the little guy.
moment of Papa Shimura being like, oh, I done goofed.
Oh
This is
yeah,
not
yeah.
good.
There was definitely it was nuanced. You could
Yeah.
feel for each person except for the little girl. She kind of sucked. Like they didn't really have any redeeming qualities about her.
She was 8. She didn't know.
I mean, you can not be a rat at 8, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there was a little bit of her being a rat when it's like, you know, he gets put outside whenever he gets in trouble, and that the punishments towards him seem to be a little bit disproportionate compared to the punishments you probably receive. Um,
Yeah. Well, it's like, and they didn't really make it clear to me. Maybe is it? I wonder if this is clear in the manga. They didn't make it clear to me that she got like caught and therefore threw him under the bus. I almost read it like she just went to their dad for the hell of it.
so it can kind of read that way. I think it's supposed to be she got caught, or well, he found out that his photo had been moved or something.
Okay.
And I think that, yeah, I think that's it. He found out the
I
photo
think
had
they
been
could have
moved, and he
taken
went,
like two
who's been
seconds to make
messing?
that clearer.
Oh, okay. But you
Because
also just thought she was just being a rat.
yeah, it just read to me
Yeah.
like she was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if I got Timu in trouble?" Because kids are
Bingo.
like that sometimes.
Kids can be like that, especially I think 8 years old is about when you start to want to do things like that.
Yeah, you can even just be like externalizing your guilt. Just be like,
True.
okay, maybe we did a thing we weren't supposed to do, and I know I told my brother that I would like defend him and whatnot, but I'm realizing now that there's a world in which my dad finds out and I get in trouble, so I'm gonna cut him off at the pass and offer Timu as sacrifice.
You know, you're right. I don't know if it was 100% clear. I mean, that could have been what happened.
That's what I'm saying, and in that
That could have
situation,
been
I
what
think it's
happened.
worse. It's premeditated, you know. It's
Premeditated. Premeditated
that
tattletales.
that moves it up a degree, you know.
Wow. And so you're like, yeah, maybe she should be disintegrated.
I didn't say that, but like she was the least likable in my opinion.
Well, I mean, Tinko liked her. He was like, he's
Yeah,
like, oh, you were always there for me.
yeah, I get that, you know. But man, I think she might have thrown him under the bus, like
Perhaps
premeditated style.
she may have dug all their graves that day.
I think so, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just a little hard to feel bad about that.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, again, disproportionate.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah,
I
it's
think, I
hard to
think,
argue that. Yeah.
yeah, I think the consequence of that should be her brother being mad at her for a couple of days.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
It's definitely more difficult than that.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
still poor behavior.
It is poor behavior, but it's not quite cruel and unusual punishment, you know? Yeah, so, yeah, he gets put outside and he kills his dog.
Yeah, kills the dog. The dog doesn't make it.
Nope. Shock
Nobody
that.
makes it.
Nope. He does not.
So how did they get them all into these hands? Are we going to cover that next episode?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I also, like, I was trying to pay attention time, did he like disintegrate anybody's hand?
I mean, he disintegrated their whole existence.
Well, yeah, but like, what did he start with? Like, did he grab anybody's hand? Because I'm trying to
Yeah, he
remember
grabbed
because
his
I know.
mom's hand.
Oh, okay, so he definitely grabbed
Yeah.
her hand.
He and his
So
mom locked
okay,
hands.
yeah, then I'm kind of like, here's the thing. All for One could just be like, here's some hands. Yeah, they're totally your family's hands.
Yeah. See, well,
You
I
know?
wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if like they were actually supposed to be the hands or if he had just like he wanted to be really ironic and so he like took the ashes of his family and molded them into these because those are like some sort of mummified hands.
They are some sort
Yeah.
of like, yeah,
It
taxidermy
could
modified, yeah.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know if they're supposed to be real hands or if they're supposed to be they melted them down or something.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know if they are actually made of their remains or if they are completely fabricated. It could go each way because
Sure.
I'm just like,
But what I'm saying is that like even if they are made of the remains in some way, it doesn't seem like it's likely like literally their chopped off hand.
right, yeah. So just like molded into the shape
Yeah.
of that.
They also would not all have the same sized hands.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's
It's like,
definitely not
gee,
their
why is
actual
my
hand.
dad's hands the same size as my sister's? That's weird.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they might. Yeah, I think your molding theory kind of makes sense here. Just being
Yeah. I'm
made of their
imagining
remains in some
Yeah,
way.
I'm imagining if they used the remains at all, it was in some sort of like just dump the ashes into a mold and create
Right,
these
right.
hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there we go.
Yep.
What a messed up story.
Yeah, very messed up story, but hey, he stopped itching in the end.
Yeah, what was with the itching? I didn't understand that.
I think that was supposed to be either like stress induced eczema or something.
Huh.
Because I've gotten so stressed out that I broke out an egg.
Oh, really interesting.
Yeah, and and I have a history of like excoriation disorder or whatever you want to call it, body focused repetitive behaviors, all that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was just I was confused as to like does he have some sort of bloodlust where he must destroy in order to alleviate the itching?
Well, I think, like he said, it's worse at home. He kept saying,
Yeah.
and I
He
think
was
it's,
stressed out.
I think it's just being stressed out around his dad or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. It might be like I think it's supposed to be like psychosomatic or whatever, an
Yeah.
actual allergy or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's about all I got to. I don't think there's anything else.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's it. The next episode is Timura Shigaraki origin.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to
How he
talk about
got.
the name change and all that.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. We'll be rounding off the season next week.
Yeah? Is this the end?
That will be the end, I believe, right? Let me
Sick.
pull up those episodes. Alright, yeah, not including the OVAs. That's it for this season.
Nice. We're going to do the OVAs too.
I mean, we might as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have an OVA week the week after that.
Sick.
Yeah, because I believe those are both. Are those like full length episodes? Yeah, they're both like episode long. Yeah.
Nice.
Neither of them are like an hour or anything like that. So yeah, so next 2 episodes are it.
Nice.
Done.
All right.
Thank you for listening to podcasts and such. Join us next time as we watch episodes 24 and 25.
Bye.